Planning Commission meeting to order. Tuesday, May 24th, 2019. May we do the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Roll call. Chair Piotrowski. Vice Chair Copas.
Here.
Secretary Hammond. Board Member Julieza. Board Member Cantor.
Present.
Board Member Stansberry.
Here.
And Board Member Thompson.
Present.
Mr. Vice Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Everyone's had a chance to review the agenda. Is there any changes or additions anyone wishes to make?
Nope.
Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Agenda approved. We have minutes from the regular meeting, April 16, 2019. Does anyone have any?
Yeah, you got to vote on the agenda.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda approved. The regular minutes of April 16th meeting, 2019. Does anyone have any additions, deletions, comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call? Or just, roll call?
Approve.
Just a voice vote.
Just, yeah. Just
Okay. Voice
all
vote?
in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda or the regular minutes are approved. We also have a joint meeting, April 30th, 2019, that was in your packet. Anyone have any comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the joint meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to be heard tonight on something that's not on the agenda? Okay, under new business, capital improvement plan. The object is to set a public hearing. We've had some revisions done by our planners. It's outlined in a memorandum that was provided to you. Matt, you want us to give an overview of what your changes are?
Yeah. So some of the things that we worked on, we worked with the city staff to get project descriptions. I know there was some questions around the detail on why some of the projects were on there, why some of them didn't have prices in years. So we worked to get as many project descriptions as we could added. The projects we weren't able to get years and prices for, but we still wanted on there as placeholders, have TBD in the year and price line. So we did rearrange some projects, added a few. Mostly the DPS added the most projects. They added 5 projects from the last time you saw this. And then we swapped one out for the Parks and Rec Department. So there's a few other bullet points on here. We updated the map. I know last time you weren't able to see the updated map. I did bring a larger version here too. It kind of shows some of the completed.
Turn it around, Matt. It's upside down.
There we go. This shows some of the completed projects. The ones in green were the projects that were on there from last year that were completed. And then I believe the projects that start with 1, so I know there's a sewer, a road, and a water project all on here that are going to be done in 2019. So water's here, 11 miles, Service Drive is getting done. There's some sewer improvements going on here, and then the completion of the complete streets, which is all the paths and signage and all that. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what projects have been completed, what projects are planned for the future, and sort of how those align, and it kind of gives a visual representation of why we do this. You can see there's already, we've had a few water and road projects that have shifted years just to align them, to ensure that the water's done first. So.
Matt, just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
do you know what the sewer project is? Is that a grouting?
I believe it's the grouting, yes. There's more description in the actual sewer section of what
Yeah.
those are, but they don't have the exact locations of them. It's all in the southern portion of
Yeah.
the city, though, south of 696. So yeah, those were some of the main changes. We moved some of the narratives around, some of the descriptions to make it a little bit more streamlined document. So nothing major changed in here. I know we aligned some of the numbers we aligned with the budget that was approved last night at City Council. So those projects are in there. Those prices should be correct. I was told there's a few corrections to the police department projects. So I will go back and change those before the public hearing for this. So are there any questions on what has changed? And if anyone has typos, feel free to let me know. I did my best to read this a couple of times, but more eyes the better. So those were the changes that were made. And then if you'll note on this memo that the 2020 CIP process, we're going to start that actually this year in just a few months. That way we're making sure we're working with all the departments to really fully grasp what their needs are and making sure that you guys have all the information timely and that the budget for next year could perhaps be amended to reflect that. So it will be coming up quick. So just a heads up. So I just want everybody to be aware that that's coming up in just a few months, and that'll just be, we'll get the subcommittee together and do the project rankings again next year.
Commissioners, any other questions, comments? We need to set a public hearing.
That is correct.
We discussed at the joint meeting setting the public hearing for your meeting in June, which would be the 18th,
June 18th?
June 18th.
Got anything else we need to do to establish it?
Just a motion to set the public hearing for June 18th, and in anticipation, I've already prepared the notice of public hearing and given them to the clerk, so she has those and indicated that if that is in fact the date, then they will be published tomorrow.
All right, I'll make a motion for June 18th for our public hearing for the capital improvement project.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Scott will take it away.
We will have our public hearing.
All right, the next item is, what's the next item?
Consideration of the plan unit.
Oh, consideration for the plan unit development ordinance amendment with the goal of setting a public hearing. The planners have provided us with a memorandum that has outlined our progress, how we've come to this point in time, including our joint meeting with the other bodies. There's actually something else in here, zoning alternatives. Is that something we're going to discuss after the fact?
No, those were,
Jill also included those standards for the drive-through uses to add to the those standards that you guys had drafted to the mixed use
yes.
and village standard.
So it's just.
Why don't you just give us an overlay then?
So, as you mentioned earlier, on April 30th, this was discussed at the joint meeting between the Planning Commission, City Council, and DDA. That was agreed that the PUD option was the preferred option moving forward. So, that language has been prepared. It's including in this. It starts on page 4. That's what your ordinance would look like. It's labeled 1. I don't know how your document's set up, but it's doesn't have an ordinance number on it yet. The zoning alternatives, that was from the previous discussion from the April 16th Planning Commission meeting. That was sort of talking about the differences between the special land use and the PUD and the differences between those two processes.
Okay.
So what we actually did for this PUD language, though, was we included the land use standards, the special land use standards. There's eight or nine of them, I believe. And those are included in the PUD ordinance, so it's sort of a hybrid of both, but it is a PUD that includes special land use standards. We did include the provision for businesses to primarily be to not use fryers, so they can use them at your discretion, but it's suggested that the businesses more like a Panera would go in there. So there's some other, the language is there for review, but it is very similar to the language you reviewed on your April 16th meeting.
Yeah, that's a nice ad.
Yeah, so if there's any, so that's what's nice, that you still get those special land use standards, but you get the control and negotiation aspects of the PUD. So.
Good pickup.
Yep, that was the consensus, I think, from the Planning Commission, and then the joint meeting, that was what everyone decided, and there was support for that.
Scott, similar thing?
Correct. Would require a motion setting a public hearing, again, in anticipation of Commission's action tonight. We have prepared a notice of that public hearing scheduled for June 18th, and the clerk June 18th. The clerk has indicated she would publish that tomorrow.
Commissioners, what is your pleasure?
Got a couple questions before we go to the
Okay.
motion. On page 5, bullet point 2, it talks about once it's been approved. I guess let me just ask the question that I have. So once the PUD is approved, and let's say, use the case of Panera, and the drive-through is built, and they're up and running for a couple of years, and now they want to, make it a, maybe they have one window and they want 2 windows, one where you order and the other one where you pay, or something like that. I'm making this up.
Change the plan.
Right. So in a situation like that, would the applicant have to do another PUD? Will they amend the PUD? Are they allowed to make changes after a certain amount of time? How does that work?
Yeah, so it would be, again, PUD becomes a contract between the city and that particular parcel. So any modifications to the PUD would require an amendment to the agreement. So,
And what if they were making modifications that weren't specifically related to the PUD? Then that just goes through normal zoning, then, correct?
well, can you give me an example? So something not related to the
Yes,
drive-through.
right. So not related to the
change
drive-through.
dumpster location.
Right. They want to change the dumpster location.
Again, because the PUD becomes the sole document for zoning for that particular parcel, that would still have to be an amendment to because the PUD is going to encompass not only in this particular case, a drive-through, but it would have their site plan would be part of that PUD agreement, so that if there's going to be changes to that site plan, that PUD is going to have to be modified to reflect that.
So it's basically associated with the parcel, and then any changes and then become reflected or have to be in accordance with the PUD or approvals afterwards.
Correct.
Okay. And then the other question on the last page, where you had the standards for drive-through uses. Number 1 says standards for VC, MX, and VC districts. Was it supposed to be just VC and MX, or was there a third district that we were going to include and we accidentally put
I think it's supposed to be CV.
CV? Okay. Oh, right, CV, yeah.
So I appreciate, thanks. I will make sure that's corrected in the final language. And just one more note I didn't add. There is in your packet a little flow chart of how this works. So I don't know if you have the color-coded version or not in your packets, but that's just another little helpful tool. We'll include something like that in the when we incorporate this into the ordinance, so that everyone has that. I just want to point that out. It's a nice visual representation of the process.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah, I like that.
That was helpful.
Very.
I think you guys are up for a motion
Yeah.
unless you guys
All right.
have other questions.
Well, I'll make a motion to hold the public hearing for amending the ordinance to allow PUDs in our June 18th Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
Second?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Any old business any commissioners have that they want to address at this time? Hearing none. Other matters for discussion? Any different?
I was wondering that too.
Sorry.
Legal update?
Nothing for me.
DDA update?
Yeah, of course. So everybody else knows, so now you guys get to know too. So the DDA won an award for Program on the Rise from the Main Street Oakland County. Will you pass this down to them, please, so they can all get a good look? So that we were one of like a half a dozen communities that were eligible to be nominated for this. It's only open
Not
to
sure
the
what that
affiliate
means,
and
but-
associate level communities through Main Street Oakland County. And it's really to recognize the efforts of the partnership. We used Hortalist Gardens as our example project, and it was really to highlight the cooperative nature of the city and Hortalist and the Planning Commission working together to make Hortalist happen, and the positive impact that they're having on the city, bringing in an interesting mix of customers, slowing down traffic, bringing visual interest, and just all around being a great place. So we won our award, and I think it's a great thing to celebrate. So congratulations, everyone. Also, the DDA is having their corridor cleanup. I will email all of you if I have not already with the flyer, since I didn't get a chance to print them all out. Corridor cleanup for Southfield Road, Saturday, June 1st. We'll have registration / check-in beginning at 8:30, and then the cleanup will actually take place from 9 to 11. We'll meet at the pavilion out back and assign people locations, cleaning locations. So bring a gang of friends and help clean up Southfield Road. We're going to go from 12 Mile to Lincoln. 12 Mile to Lincoln, sorry. So that's, oh, no, I have others. Also, Jagged Fork is moving right along. I don't know if any of you noticed, but I noticed them doing some landscaping and some other exterior work last week, so that is super exciting. They're still on track to open their doors at the end of June, so they're making a real strong go at it. So, and then last but not least, there are new owners for the Georgia Soccer building. They submitted something that was incomplete, so they'll be coming before you sometime in the relatively near future.
I was wondering why that wasn't on the agenda.
Yeah, they had submitted a survey that was woefully lacking in some areas, so they've been notified that they need to tighten those plans up before we can have Matt and Jill review those and bring those before you. So we'll see. I'm not going to put a timeline on that one quite yet, but so we've got some action happening. So, but that is everything I have.
Susie, last time you said that there was a proposal for the Annie Lathrup School Preservation Program.
Yes.
And there was a pre-application process.
Yes. I am kind of waiting on pins and needles for a phone call or an email or however the heck they're going to tell us, you're a finalist. So May is Preservation Month. They did tell us that they were going to make a decision on finalists either sometime in May or June. So the county is kind of hoping that they tell us in the month of May, since it is Preservation Month, and that would make sense. I still haven't gotten my email or phone call yet, though. So I will let you know as soon as possible. I think we have a great shot at it this year. I don't remember if I told you guys or not, but the theme is women and their impact on communities and planning, past and present. We check a whole lot of boxes, past and present. So, and you know, with the school, and we've signed. You know, I signed up the Cernos to you know, make some exterior improvements, scrape the paint, fix the windows, do some landscaping. Hope you guys don't mind. You know, take out some air conditioners. So, you know, I think we have a good shot.
Now, you had indicated you might share the pre-application with us. Does any commissioners want to see that?
Yeah. All right. I'll send it out.
You might as well share it with all of us then at the next meeting.
Yeah.
With the good news, hopefully.
I hope that award is like the start of a nice roll, you know.
I think we would agree with you.
And I guess I'll tell you guys one more thing. So I was at a SEMCOG Training Wheels event today. That's why if you were trying to get a hold of me, you didn't. And it was really interesting information. It talked a lot about. It was all about bike lanes, and you know, I mean, it was far more technical than I thought it was going to be. It was, you know, we talked about lane widths and different protection methods, buffering designs. And so it's going to be good fodder for our application for SEMCOG for the non-motorized transportation plan. So fingers crossed. So right now I'm done talking. Yes,
Dr. Mitchell, any staff updates?
Sure, thank you. Speaking of training, MSU Extension had their Fiscally Ready Communities training session today, and I'm pleased to share with you that your colleague Ann Thompson was there as well. Nothing like talking about budgets for 4 hours. Speaking of which, the council voted to approve to adopt the fiscal year 2019-20 budget yesterday, and they have a special session scheduled for June 22nd. That's a Saturday at 9 a.m. to affirm the actions from the Planning Commission relative to the plan unit development plan and the capital improvement plan, assuming that you take affirmative action on June 18th. Monday, the 27th, City Hall will be closed in observance of the Memorial Day weekend. And May 30th, there is a cleanup of Golden Gate Park starting at 5 o'clock, and we welcome all volunteers and participants to be a part of that. And I think June 3rd, the Lathrup Village Homeowners Association will have a welcome picnic for new residents, and we invite people to come to that and learn more about what's going on in the city as well.
Very good. Thank you. Anything else anyone want to add before we?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Seems appropriate to also mention, because I think you guys probably aren't aware of it, but we do have a infrastructure committee that we formed, and we are, I think, having our 4th meeting now on Friday to look at sidewalks, roads, sewer, water, ditches. And yeah, and so we've done some learning sessions, some education sessions. We've spent some time interrogating our city engineer and city planner to get some more information, and we are now going to start rolling up our sleeves and try to make a recommendation, starting with the roads. And so that's going to be the sole topic of our meeting on Wednesday. So we're making progress and hoping to come up with some good recommendations on all the systems and try to get some of our needed infrastructure improvements, get them moving, so,
That's excellent.
yeah.
That's excellent. You guys are doing good work. Thank you. Last chance. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Meeting adjourned.